I'm going to be planting out onions today. We're in the sunroom now, so I'll sit here nice and comfortable, and I'm going to take these plugs out. These trays, they're a little heavy, but they're nice because you can carry them with, I can carry them with one hand. I can open and close doors, right? So these are really nice, easy to bring back and forth when I was hardening them off. And so I had them out hardening them off, and we had a little bit of rain off and on. I brought them in here for the last day and a half to let it dry out a little bit, but they're still quite wet, so not all of the plugs are coming out perfectly. I was just talking on the phone, so I have a few of these out, but I'll bring this forward. So this is the tray with the little holes in it. If I go in here to the second one in, because in the center of the tray I have to make several pokes different ways, but quite often I can get it, the plug out, a nice plug. This is the one I just pushed up right here. See, I'm getting quite a few of them like that. Like I say, I have to go around the plug, push it up at several different angles. Some of them, the bottom part fell off. Some of them it didn't. Once I get the plug out, it's easy. I can just grab the leaves and pull it right up. So if this was a light tray, I'd just bring the tray out. Now some of the plugs I have two plants in, see? So I have to, well, I'm going to, I don't have to, but I'm going to separate them. Now why did I set so many onion seeds? Well, I've got two reasons for setting so many onion seeds, really. The tray with the white ones, they weren't germinating, as you know. You see, this one is, remember I put the epoxy resin down inside here to stiffen it up, and so it's nice and stiff and I can carry it the same way. These are lighter, so yeah, I could do that, but what happened when I took this, and they're not growing that big. I mean, I can take them out and plant them in the garden now, but the roots had grown down through and out into the wicking mat. So when I moved it, all of these big ones, half the length of the root is broken off and in the wicking mat. That's why I said I wanted a tray that's at least 2 inches deep, right? So it would be like over twice as deep as what this one is. So because that one was not germinating very well, the tray there, I decided to do that final experiment so I can tell you why I want deeper cells. It's actually 180 plants goes in a bed, and I have two varieties of the big one, that is the Craig and Kelsey, and I have two varieties of red. So now if I could get 100 plants of each variety to go in the bed, it would be real nice. Doesn't look like I'm going to get 100 varieties each of the red one, but we'll wait and see. I'm going to take them out and put them in this tray because, like I say, this is heavier and I want to be able to lay it on the bed as I'm planting. Here's one with two in, so I'm going to take them apart. Not that I like that. See, if you can get them out, put them in little plugs like that, and you get them out without disturbing the roots, then they'll have next to no transplant shock. Now I'm going to stop talking because I want to count these. That's 61. Alyssa Craig. Now, which ones do I want to take? Let's see what I can get out of that tray over there. This is the tray that didn't do well first nor last, but there's red onions over there and Alyssa Craig on this end. This might fit up the whole of these. Yeah. See, I was talking about making the whole one, the other one's bigger, and it might be a good idea because the plug will come out in one piece better. So new one, looks like I'm going to have to go for that small plastic container one. But the plugs are popping out so easy out of this plastic container tray. So you have to have them growing enough to have some root system to hang on to the soil. $92. I can take the last 8 from here. Mr. Craig comes down this line. There, now we'll go out and plant Alyssa Craig. What I'm looking at here now is the seed that those plants are coming from. It looks almost like a watermelon seed. But it can't be watermelon seed. It's dark, almost black, and a teardrop shape. Huh. That's interesting. I had this made years ago, so I need to use a plate. There's a little onion seedling growing right here, so I don't know if there's an onion down there or if that's growing from seed. However, I'm going to leave it, and I want to put 10 across regardless. Like, I'm not going to try to do it 4-inch spacing. I'm going to try to do it so that I get 10 across the bed. And I've got 8, 16, 24, and 5. So I got 29 inches, 10 across. I'm going to have to do them 3 inches apart, right? Oh, and here's another onion seedling along with that dandelion. So there's an onion seedling right there. The soil is a little bit wet, so I should be able to make holes. And the idea, as I was saying in earlier videos, when they start to bulb up, take out every second onion. I'm just pushing this dibber in 2 inches now. How many did I get? I got 8 plus the 2 that was already there. And I'm going to put those that I took from that plastic tray in here first. See, we're going to get 10 to 15 millimeters rain tonight, they're saying. So they'll get watered in. And those plugs are fitting right down there just nicely. I'll just lower the plug down like that, and I'll leave it. I've run out of those from the plastic tray, so I'm going to move this pipe back, and I'm going to use this pipe to mark my lines from now on, and we'll be able to analyze whether planting them back in March, early March, or whenever it was I planted the original ones, is it better to plant them early and let them grow on from there, or do you just have to plant them so that you've got just somewhat of a decent sized plant to put out? Because in the past, even when I planted them early, I had small seedlings that I was planting out. Some of them didn't grow as well as others. So I'm just wondering, do you really need to plant them that early? Or is it just a matter of getting the plant up and growing because the seeds needs higher temperature to germinate than what the plant needs to grow? That's what I'm thinking right now. And yes, those little things that's growing up there that I mentioned when I was cleaning out this bed, I'm going to have a lot of transplanting to do. By the looks of it, some kind of a melon or a squash. I don't think so you can plant the onions deep, but I don't know. If you know any better than me, because what I'm thinking is they bulb up and the bulbs really are basically on top of the ground. Well, half in the ground. So you plant them down to where the green leaves starts, and that's as deep as you can plant them as far as I know. I'm going to continue on and planting this. You see now I'm planting them. I just use this as a straight edge, and I poke my holes in with my dibber. It's 6 inches from the furthest one. Now I believe it's 6 to 8 inches they suggest for Kelsey and the other one, Alyssa Craig, because the onions grow so big. And it's only 4 inches for the regular size onions. So I can plant, I always do my rows 6 inches apart, and I can do the red ones 4 inches in a row and just leave them there. These here, like I was saying, I'll have to take up every second one once they start to bulb up. Once the bulb gets fair size, I'll take up every second one, and then that's not going to keep because it's not done growing. It won't keep any time at all. But what I'll be doing is I'll take them up and use them right away, right? And if I can't use them as fast as I need to take them up, I'll just dehydrate them into onion powder. We have a cute caterpillar here. I'll show you this caterpillar before I close it off the camera there. I've got all the ones that, well, most of the ones that are big enough planted out. So these are the seedlings now. Some Kelsey and Alyssa Craig here that I'm going to let grow on a little bit more. The Red Spring, I haven't decided exactly where I'm going to put them yet. There's some up big enough to go out, but I can leave them in there for another little bit. And apart from that, there's only just these two seedlings here of Red Weathersfield. There's 4 seedlings of Kelsey here. I doubt anything else is going to pop up now. And then we have a bunch here. This is the Rosa di Milano and Red Weathersfield. This biggest one here, that's the only white onion that I got to grow of all the white onion seed I had. And then over here we have more Alyssa Craig, but they're still really tiny, so I gotta wait for them to grow. So I'm going to leave those in here now. I planted out, I don't know if the numbers are exact, 20 Alyssa Craig of the late planting, so that's the ones from the that commercial plastic tray, and then the other Alyssa Craig here. In total, 100 Alyssa Craig. There's the Kelsey late planting. There was, I think, 40 or 45 of the late planting ones. The last row in this bed is the earlier planted Kelseys, and then the rest of them I put here. I had 130 in total of Kelsey onion seedlings. Red Weathersfield, I had 40 seedlings, and Rosa di Milano, I had only 26. So in total, that makes almost 300. It might be 300 because I think I had more than 130 Kelsey, but I'm not sure. So somewhere around 300 seedlings I planted out. And I have room for 2 more rows here. When those other ones in the house gets bigger, I'll inspect this and see if any have died. If I want to replace any here. Like I say, some died and I really want a onion to grow in that spot. Of course, the Kelsey, the occasional one can die and I'm not going to worry about it. I'll just put them down there in that little space. But Red Weathersfield and Rosa di Milano, I will probably keep them in their 3-inch spacing like that. So I'm happy to I set the 800 sets at 800 spaces, but that's the way it goes, right? You don't know what's going to sprout. So in those little tiny 200 cell, in a 200 cell flat, you got those little tiny cells, and you can set them out, 3 or 4 of them, and then what grows, and then you put it out here. I've got 2 full beds of onion seedlings, and I'm happy. I realized while I was editing that I didn't give you a close-up of what I was doing. And I also realized while I was doing this, it's better for me to sit with my legs straddling the bed like this. I think I'm gonna have to move you a little bit. So I got 9 more Rosa di Milano here. And as I was saying, I watered this just about an hour ago. When it's a little wet, you can have it hold a shape of a hole like that, right? But if your soil is not wet, dry soil is great for when you're doing weeding. But not so great when you're trying to put in little plugs like this. Take the plug and just drop them down, holding it by the leaves, of course. Let the plug drop down that hole, and then you squeeze the soil in among the plug. You can hear the wind in the background. If I were to wait for a calm day around here to do a video, I'd never do a video. When we wake up and there's no wind, it's a shocking experience. I got something exciting. Well, I don't know if it's exciting, but it's interesting to tell you here in just a minute. But I'm going to poke in the rest of these seedlings right now. That's how I'm planting them. These seedlings. That is apple tree seedlings. There's a lot of them growing up in this bed, and there are more in the other bed. And since that's apple tree seedlings, I don't know where they could pop up anywhere in the garden. No, they're in the compost. So I guess I'm just going to let them grow, and come fall, when everything is starting to go dormant, I'll pop them up into milk cartons, and I'll have a bunch of apple tree seedlings.